I spent my whole life in church music from a very early age, going as a kid, then being part of it. And it wasn't until I went to college and took a course in film and TV composition, where I suddenly thought, oh, this all makes sense. Because one of the pieces of advice was that if the music starts to dominate what you're seeing as an action, you're doing the wrong thing. And it was interesting that was for me a moment where I thought, hang on, that you could apply that to liturgical music. The idea of liturgical music is to support and enhance, I believe, the texts that guide us. So I think the idea of liturgical music is really to find the essence of what is the core of our prayer. Sometimes that would be text-based, as something like a Eucharist. Other times there can be meditative services. Supporting role? Maybe not. I would say it's actually all intertwined. It's a question of proportion and balance. And I think yes, it's supporting, but if you take the soundtrack away from a movie, it suddenly starts to lose its meaning. So these two things are intertwined. In a place like a cathedral as this, a lot of the liturgical music is built for the space. The thing that is most successful. But I think you can be in someone's front room celebrating a Eucharist or be in prayer and have simple song be that. I think it's liturgical music is addressing prayer and liturgy in the environment where it is being worshipped. Well, I think if you take music, but even pre-Christian times, and you look at the whole of the history of religious music, and you look at the different parts of the world where this has evolved, Buddhism, where you look at the Jewish religion, and even Hindu faith, they have the same pattern of needing to address the emotional response of text, from great excitement to great despair, and everything in between that. And I think if you take it back to its most basic form, it is song. And how do you take song and gradually expand upon a simple voice to add two parts, to make two parts become four? That can be instrumental, it can be vocal. Often in the olden days it was that. But I think what it needs to do, what has happened is that music in liturgy and in church is reflective of its culture in which it has grown up. And I think when you consider music throughout the world, and in a world that's getting smaller, where cultures are now coming together, you need to be able to take the origin of each of those cultures, understand them, honor them, and then find a way of making that music reflect out to the people who are in that moment with you. Now that can be in a room, it can be online as a broadcast, but as we evolve church music, surely the idea is for people to see their own reflection in the liturgy that is being worshipped, practiced at that time. Music is divinely given to us for it to live and breathe through those of us who find music an inspiration. Some of us want to lead, some of us participate. I think the essence of taking music into one's body and being able to then to provide that and to not simply just return that, but to exercise it and to make it better and to enhance it and to let it touch your soul so that what's response is not an academic one, but a spiritual one. We're given an academic ability to unpack and recreate and develop. But if it doesn't touch the heart at any point, then it doesn't add to the wonder, it doesn't create wonder. So I think that's very important that you find a time and a place where you can educate people, help them understand why. But the mystery of wonder is that you don't quite understand how it is. We just know through centuries of making music in both liturgical and non-liturgical forms that it can be the heightened peak of expression. And that is then an exhilaration for people who take part of that. I think that becomes the word wonder in terms of our common parlance in church.